Welcome back to Case Closed, Anime Review, episode 222. We are here discussing episode number, if I can get to it actually, it is episode number 1109, Takagi and Date, and the Notebook Promise, Part 1. This adapts from the entirety of chapter 1079 and almost the entirety of chapter 1080, with the exception of the last 6 pages. So we start off with basically the Detective Boys, where we have Hybra, where she's basically just out and about. She's basically an energy back, and then all of a sudden we hear, oh, there's a guy being chased by somebody. Turns out it's Takagi. It turns out he's this guy is a serial robber because he's basically taken to a judo flip by Sato. Yep. They're back here, of course, American Arrest, 1104. And, of course, he remembers, and he sees something in his notebook, which turns out was actually his mentor's date book, Date Takagi. Basically, Takagi's first name was Wataru. They have the same last name, except they're not related. Yes, people call him also him and his partner, the Takagi brothers, because they have the same last name, despite not being related. So then remembers, oh, I make a man out of you, and then we see where he says something, and then he gets killed by it. Basically, something was mentioned early on in the series about him, where he got killed in a car accident. Yeah, he's the only, because he was a character seen also in the Wild Police arc. He was the only one not like, I mean, you have two people get killed by bombs. He basically got killed in a car accident. And of course, one of them we actually hear in the present day. So, and of course, Takagi, and of course, he's remembered the thing he wrote down apparently was some kind of message. So, Conan figures out though that it's apparently like a number and a business address. And of course, Sato, prior to finding out it was for what it actually is, like, oh, is it going to be some scandalous place here blushing? It's like, nope, it's Parrot. Excuse me. Yes, the cafe. This is a slight change in the manga because when they show the cafe in the manga, they show it from the side with the sign saying Parrot. Here it's like it's a close up of the awning that says coffee. So they all go inside, and of course, basically, oh yeah, and the fact that Takagi's buying. It's like whatever you want. And of course, they piece together a little mystery where like they figure out exactly like the numbers behind it and figure out and they mentioned about something about a kid who keeps coming by every Sunday and does this little hand thing where it's revealed that this kid is actually Canadian, and the fact he's a kidnapping victim, and also the fact that Takagi remembers the case where 1 year prior to events of the story, the son of this like car businessman got kidnapped, and the kidnapper wanted 50 million yen, and they suspect that this former gang leader wanting a gang to him be responsible for it. But then he gets whacked by a drunk in the head with a beer bottle, ends up in hospital. Then he apparently died a week later. Yeah, that was really weird. So at the piece, of course, there's also like a version, like a PSP called a Game Man. Yes, seriously. It's a very interesting story here so far. The fact that it's got like a little unsolved case like a year prior that Takagi just remembers, and later on Son remembers the case too. And despite the fact that Date was actually part of a different division, he volunteered to become part of the case because he lived next door and plus he knew the area. And Takagi also took part in the case too because, well, he lived quite near there, so not a bad idea to do that. I mean, I'm sure any time in a police story, like even if you have somebody from a different division, like they can always have help. This also happened, I believe, also in an episode of Homicide from the Street. I remember seeing this happen where we have it where like there was an episode of the series where there was this officer who got shot, and his former partner who worked in the bomb disposal unit volunteered to help out with the case because it's his partner. He wanted to help out, and They were like the first, but they accept this help, no problem. It's very standard. Even American fiction, this does happen, where you have people from different divisions help up with a big case like this. So, in case you're curious, did they catch the guy who shot that policeman? Yes, they did. I watched On the Street. Great show. Sadly, the actor who played one of the actors from the show, um, sadly put the actor who played one of the characters from Humps on the Street, Richard Belzer, passed away last year. Yeah, he was 78. He died in France, which is kind of weird. I bring this up because basically this is a show it happened on. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, so basically, it's and of course, use the Conan's bow tie. Of course, they don't see the fact there's actually a device behind it, because the whole thing is like, oh, this kidnapper has to meet up with this guy who's wearing a red bow tie. It's a very simple good case. It's like you watch this episode, it's a lot of setup for part two. That's mostly what this serves as. And despite the fact where it ends, actually ends at the uh, basically at the seventh to last page of the chapter, because there's actually 6 pages left of chapter 1080. Great way to end it. Good episode. I kind of liked it. Okay, so that's going to be pretty much it, particular view. I'm going to go ahead to 2 comic corners and I'll call it a night. Okay, next view. Bye.